Hi.
I don't know what episode number this will be. Okay, I don't know what episode number this will be, but I'm here with Mitzi Cole, who is an amazing friend of mine and an amazing person, an amazing woman, and just a gift to this world. And she created the cookie technique, and we're here for her to talk about the cookie technique and to talk about her and her journey. And we're here to spread love, freedom, joy to everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
well, and specifically, you were just talking about that your target audience is that you work with women. But
Yes.
I think that my belief is that when you have a mission to spread freedom, love, joy to even one group of people, that it impacts the whole world, especially women, because women are what keeps this world going.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna we create the people, we are the source.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what would you like to say to introduce yourself? What would you like to say to be here? Hi.
Wow. Thanks for that lead in.
Yeah.
I just want to, first and foremost, I want to say thank you. Thanks for showing up last week to record authentically who you were. Because that gave me a little bit of time to think about what I wanted to share with the world today with you.
Yeah. Well, and it gave me like the experience of I think everything happened perfectly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think everything happened perfectly. I showed up last week. I was completely drained. And you were like, we're not recording today.
When I told my daughter that I put you in my bed to take a nap, she was like, you did what? I'm like, she needs to be taken care of. And that's what we do in this world.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, oh. I actually kept that entire bed set that was at Providencia, my retreat facility, and put it in my room because it's the love room that was at Providencia. And that's, I had to transplant where I had the cookie technique before and bring it home because this is really, truly, authentically the home of the cookie technique.
Yeah.
And so thank you for letting me guide you last week and actually give you a real life version of everything I do with the cookie technique.
Yeah.
So.
It was beautiful and amazing. And I have been so alive and vital and full of love this past week. And everyone's been complimenting my hair.
I was complimenting it every time I saw a video, and I'm like, thank you for jumping in on this global cookie love mission. Like, every time you popped up, I was like, wow, she's doing it. She's just, from what I saw last week to now, is extraordinary in such a short amount of time. So
I know. Well, one of the great things about doing this podcast is, and I've said this before, is that I've only interviewed people that I already know, with an exception, but pretty much everyone that I've interviewed so far, I've known for a while, maybe like a year, a couple of years, something like that. But in the process of creating this podcast and interviewing and talking with people that I've already known, I've gotten to know these people, you included, that I've known for years. But just in this past week, just in these past couple weeks, and talking about having this podcast, that I've gotten to know you on such a deeper and more intimate level and gotten to see what you do in the world and see what you bring and just experience you.
Aww.
And it's been beautiful and amazing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so anything else that you want to say before we get started, and then I'll just dive in.
I'm just grateful to be here. I knew that I was ready to take the cookie technique out to the world again because it's been on hold since, for 4 years since I was teaching in Vegas, and I really was specific about choosing you and choosing Sean to come in and surround me while, this entire cookie global love mission went out to the world because I felt safe. I knew I would be heard, and I felt like the message would be in service for the whole world. So
yeah,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for reaching out to me. And I feel honored and privileged to have love dripping from the walls be the platform for you to re-embark on this beautiful journey that you're sharing.
Thank you. And your name was one of the,
Yeah.
on the list of people that I was looking at. Like, who do I want to reach out to? Your name. I mean, that drove me in because that's what I do. I share love with the world. That's Cookie Love Mission.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Exactly.
So,
exactly.
yeah.
All right. So what is your mission?
What is my mission? My mission is to literally spread cookie magic into every home across the globe and get and share with women freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, freedom of expression, freedom through music. And that's why I am on day 36 of my own Cookie Love Mission.
Yes.
Because I actually didn't know how to get the cookie back out to the world, the cookie technique.
Yeah.
Because of course, everyone listening right now doesn't know my story, but after losing 130 pounds and gaining 50 or whatever back, I don't get on the scale, so it doesn't matter. I was like, how do I like reintroduce, how do I get out there? Because I've rewritten the cookie technique so many times I can't even freaking see straight. And there's no really rewriting it because it's so actually magical. But I didn't know how to get out there again. And so I was like, shoot, darn it, that's it. This little turkey that's gotten fattened up right now is going out to the world to show everyone that you're just perfect, beautiful in your own skin every day where you are. And so my mission was to share with women that there's freedom. There's freedom through movement, music, dance, sensuality, sexuality, and, to trust. Like to give it up to the world, to God, to the universe, and just know that, and if you don't mind me saying this, there's a part of me, and that probably all sounded wonderful, right? Yay!
That all sounded wonderful.
Sounds wonderful. Love her. And the other part of me is very angry. Fuck the $1 billion weight loss industry. I'm so tired of women coming into me and saying, I did this, I did that, I popped this pill, I went to the gym 6 days a week, I did what I was told, it's not working, I hate myself. Like to have them in my arms and say they're addicted to drugs, alcohol, like whatever it is that they are addicted to. Food is a huge one. And I know that because I have dealt with emotional issues with food my entire life. It's been something that it's come up again, obviously. And so I'm still processing things. But when women come in and they're looking at me and looking at the scale and looking at me, I'm like, come here. Let me show you. And I'm going to show the world now. Like I was injured back in May. I couldn't even dance. But I started dancing like little tiny movements, healing my body and loving myself right where I am. 35 days ago, I started playing music for myself. I used to be that woman that would listen to music and think, oh, this song, if I had the love of my life, he would totally think of me like this, right? Or this empowerment song, confidence song. Ooh, I always thought of, music as external. And then 35 days ago, I started playing it and living it. Like I was like, oh, when people see me dance, they're going to see me love myself more than I've ever loved myself. And I'm hoping that through my guidance and my movement and my love and my passion, every woman will be like, yeah. And they hear music deeper and richer than they've ever heard it before. They look in the mirror and they see their body in a whole new way.
Yeah.
Perfect, whole, and complete right where they are.
Yep.
I don't care if they're 90 pounds soaking wet or if they're 500 pounds and can't hardly move. Like to help a woman turn that switch is like incredible. Yeah. It's one of the rarest gifts in the world. And if I can turn a switch for even just one woman that's listening and says, oh my God, I love myself. I love my cookie. I love my world that I live in. I love food. Melts right off my body. I can sleep now at night for the first time when I didn't understand what my sleep patterns were and everything. So... And if you're wondering what the cookie technique is,
that was my
here
next
it
question.
is. I knew it. I saw it in your eyes. The cookie technique is, it began as me collecting all my life experiences and hucking it on the pole. pole dancing. External, physical, connective. And then over time, more women coming to me, I was like, oh, the cookie technique is actually collecting all the mysteries and all the magic in the world collectively and hucking it out on the pole. Because the cookie technique is when a woman shows up, I don't know what their cookie is. They actually discover it right in front of my eyes. Obviously, I have a plan written out. Obviously, I have a structured program. But boy, there's not been a single woman that's walked through here. Or a teenager. I've worked with young teens. Walked through here that didn't show up. And I saw what they needed. And we worked on that, So.
Yeah. And you are such a intuitive person. That's why when last week and I walked in and I saw myself in the mirror, and you have this big mirror in your living room, and I saw myself too. I was like, oh shit. And you were like, what do you need? And I took a nap for 20 minutes, and then we chatted for like an hour, and then you were just like, no, you are in no space to record. And you just saw, like, you just knew, you knew what I needed. But not in like exactly what you just said. Like, not in a, you knew what I needed, like, oh, here's steps A, B, and C. Like,
I didn't know that.
Right. Like, you knew what I needed, like to be the space for me to discover what I needed. Yeah. And I even surprised you, because then after you were like, oh, we're not recording, you were like, what do you need? And I just looked at you and I was like, I need a haircut.
Yeah. And I was like, score. And it was so funny, before you came, I thought you were going to ask me through the podcast how many years I've been doing hair. Yeah. So I was like, I better go count. And when I counted, I was like, dang it. I actually didn't want to know that number. It's 28 years that I've been professionally doing hair.
Wow.
And that's part of the cookie technique too. Some women are like, I am not feminine. I can't do pole. And that's okay. That's not the whole picture of the cookie technique. If I could transform you outside physically and talk to you and get to know your family and who you are, and like, there's not a single woman that doesn't come to me that I don't send out on a mission, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You gave me an assignment.
I gave you an assignment because you are love and light in the world. Why wouldn't I want to say, okay, this came to me, I really believe XYZ. And like yesterday I had a new client here. Oh my gosh, she was so cute. And I had only done a consult with her the week before. Yeah. But I gave her a word to go out there to really get into understanding her own love languages with herself and her daughter. She needed healing with her daughter. Yeah. And she was going through stuff. And I said, hey, do you know it? I mean, obviously I didn't write this stuff, right? But the love languages, I'm like, do you know the 5 love languages? And do you know your daughter's love language? And she's like, no. I'm like, oh, well, maybe, through translation, things are getting lost. And she went and did the homework. Like, she went in right away and started implementing, because I told her what I thought her daughter's love languages were acts of gifts and quality time, which it was, by the way. So, and I said to her, you don't need to go buy gifts. Like, go in her room and find stickers and re-gift them back.
Yeah. You don't have to go buy like a $50 whatever.
Exactly. And I said, why don't you introduce stickers and have quality time coloring with her, because that could help. And it took her daughter, was diagnosed autistic, but I'm not so sure. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I asked her every single time if she was going to raise her voice to her daughter or something, to to turn and raise her voice to herself. Like, how would you receive that? And then focus on your daughter's gifts. Like, what are her? And so she did it. She went and found a gift, and she's been doing tons of quality time. And she's like, oh my God. So that was just a consult I did with her. I didn't even know her, but I could see her struggle. And so when I did her hair this last week, she's like, give me another word. Do you have more homework?
Can I have more assignments, please?
And she's like, she's like, I think I want to dance with you. I think I want to do this pole thing. And we were really talking about what that meant for her, what it looked like financially for her family, like what it would do to impact her. And so I handed her my cookie goddess list of words, so she could choose her own word. Yes. And I said, don't take any more than 30 seconds, because don't study it. There's like 100 words there. Yeah. And she took the word vulnerable. And I could totally tell that she was like, I'm going to express my vulnerability. And so I smiled at her and I said, now that word is really important. And she's like, okay. Like she's ready to be vulnerable with the world. And I said, I actually need you to take that word and hold really quiet to it and watch people in this world and see their vulnerabilities. Because this is not about you. This is about what you could give to the world, like what you could service. And so I said, I challenge you this week to stay quiet and see people for who they really are and see where you can help them. Because I feel like if more people did that, this world would like really, really impactful. So
that's really beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm over here trying not to cry because I don't know what mascara I put on.
That's the good thing about the podcast. No one can see you.
I know, but I'd be like
You are absolutely allowed to cry on
Thank
my
you.
podcast. If you needed permission.
Yeah, I'm actually going through a personal struggle right now with my own daughter. So it's freaking awesome that, like I was sharing with you guys earlier, my first wake up call was when my father passed away from cancer, and I sold my like really successful salon and spa so I could stay home and be a stay-home mom to my kids. That didn't last but 3 months. My second wake up call was 3 months later when my son got ran over by my horses. And I went to go scoop him up and throw him in my truck. And since I was weighing just shy of maybe 270 pounds, when I ran him into the emergency room, I didn't have any air left in my lungs to share with the nurse what was wrong with my son. And so my little 3-year-old daughter, 4-year-old, I don't know how she was, 5-year-old daughter, like had to speak for me. And I was so unconditioned. Like I just sold my business successfully in a recession to stay home with my children. Yet my health was so poor. Like I couldn't save my son. And so thankfully he got out of it just being in a wheelchair with broken arm and leg, and we shredded that wheelchair, by the way. Wow. Right. Drifting was our thing. But God. But he was my wake up call because I gave my vow to God and the world and the universe that day that God, get me out of this. Don't please, with horses, you don't know if they're going to have internal bleeding. And I didn't call 911. I drove them there. I got there in 5 minutes, but yeah. What do they no, nothing could get in the way of a mother taking care of their child like that. So, but
what is that?
Hell
It's
had
like,
no fury or like, what's the?
No, the hell hath no fury is like the rage of a woman or something like that. But the mama one bear. Is it's like the mom bear, like strength of a mom or mom strength, or what is it? Oh shoot,
yeah. We are ravages when that happens. I remember
but it is. It's just like that strength that you get as a mom when it's just like it's your baby and it's just like there is no physics anymore.
Well, then imagine though that there's that strength in you. Like that core strength in you, and you're going to save your son, but you go to run him from a parking lot to the front of a nurse's station and you can't breathe. Yeah. That's my job. That's my fucking job in this world, to take care of my children. Yeah. And I couldn't deliver. So that was the day I gave my word to take care of my health. Yeah. Now, a little backstory is I suck at that. Like back then, I didn't know who I was authentically, and I had never been in a kitchen. I sucked at cooking. I'd never been to a gym. I didn't know shit about exercising. I stood behind a chair my whole life, making people beautiful externally. I sipped, I probably drank 4 or 5 lattes a day. Wow. That was my fuel system. And then I would eat a large dinner. Like I was on autopilot. I can make you beautiful outside, but I knew nothing at that time about the inside. So when my son got trampled and he was in the wheelchair, I remembered the vow I gave. And I took it very serious. Like I was like, okay, I don't know how to go to the gym, so I'll start walking every day. And I kind of like music. And that was like, seriously, kind of like music. I can't even believe I thought that. Like I'm so passionate about music now, it's not even funny. Right. But I'll walk to 3 songs a day. I will drink water. I don't know how to do this food thing, so I will cut down on portions. I will, and every time I would take my son to school, he was in the wheelchair and I didn't want anyone taking care of him besides me. So I was going back and forth, at recesses, drifting. I want him to be, I showed all the kids how to drift in the wheelchair, and the school lunches. Like I was mama bear, I did that. And I still had hair clients at home. Like I had sold my business, but I was doing hair clients at home. So I was back and forth all the time. And so I was learning, at that time, how to do what I do today with the cookie technique. And then like once 30, 40 pounds fell off, my ass, I was like, oh, I am so hot and sexy. And the truth be told, for 20 years, actually, whenever I was in pictures, I would hide from the camera. That's just the truth. So if you ever see pictures of me from the past, I'd be like, you see like my eyeballs poking out and stuff. Like I had things in front of me because I really didn't like who I was. Like I felt trapped in this fat suit, if you will, right? And I know people might be pissed if I say that, but that's just how I saw myself.
Your experience. Your experience of yourself was that you were trapped in a fat suit.
Yeah, I grew up with a family that locked the food cupboards. I could never have food. Like my association growing up with food wasn't healthy. Yeah. And so anytime I got food, it was of scarcity. And then I learned how to live off of caffeine instead of food. Like I had poor nutrition habits, right? And so I took those childhood beliefs of scarcity, terrible, whatever. And also I had adopted, when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I had a kid come up to me and say how ugly I was, called me Mitzi Zitzi and like all this stuff. And he said that I was like a slimer, like terrible, yucky thing. And so in my mind, I had associated the way that I looked at that time to Jabba the Hutt.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So in my mind,
that's 6 years old.
Yeah, and that's how, whenever I looked in the mirror, that's how I saw it. Do I look like Jabba the Hutt?
No, you're fucking sexy.
Well, I fucking love you.
I just call it like I see it. If anybody who's been listening to my podcast knows that I just call it like I see it. Anybody who knows me is just
I'm blushing.
Oh my god. So just slight tangent. No, somebody the other day, what did they say? They were just like, oh, Elizabeth, like I always know that you're like telling the truth, like you don't mince words. Anyway, you're fucking sexy.
Oh, continue. Well, don't mince words ever, and I love it. Perfect. So moving forward, when I had that moment in the mirror after I lost like 30 or 40 pounds, and mind you, I did do things that I looked at my past history of 20 years of doing the craziest shit for diets. Like I had done the cabbage soup diet. I had done Jenny Craig, lost 30 pounds eating their food, gained 40, I actually did this thing. I did this wrap. Like if you wrap your body in this solution and then put the stuff on top and dance, you too could lose 5 pounds in one dance. Okay, I'm just trying to tell you I did things that you did. I didn't pop pills and stuff like that, but
there's crazy things out there. They're just like, do this weird fucking thing and then you'll lose 5 pounds. Like, what are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying is I literally did lose the 130 pounds from literally taking the first step. So many people say, how did you do it? I just took the first step. I started walking and drinking water and portion sizes and listening to music and and there's a lot, there to do that. I went to Weight Watchers. I never did anything. I wouldn't count their points. I wouldn't get on the scale. I was probably like the most rebellious person they had there, but I really wanted to be with the group. I wanted to talk to them and like be friends. Like you
wanted a support. You wanted a community of people
and understanding.
Who were doing, exactly, who are on the same journey that you are.
Right. And the lady challenged me. She's like, well, if you're going to be part of this thing, they were doing this Dr. Phil and Oprah $1 million weight loss thing at the time. If you're going to be part of this, we have to do something. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll weigh in the first time. And then maybe when I feel like I just have to listen to my intuition when I could get on the scale again, because that would be nice to know, but it wasn't going to be something I set my mind to. Right. And also I challenged her to see how I could join because it was questionnaire. Like, I'm like, you're going to get my money. I just don't want to count points. I won't do it like that. And so we found a little paragraph in their business saying that as long as you paid attention to portion sizes. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to make my portion sizes so sexy. And then
how do you make portion sizes sexy? And I'm curious.
Well, because remember how I told you my association with food was before? Yeah. It was negative. So imagine food all being brown, yucky, and bland. Yeah. Right? That's how I lived my life. But I chose to turn it around and make it sensual and sexy and look at the colors, the vibrancies. Like my favorite snack became grapes and blueberries and brie cheese and rosemary almonds and then 3 little tiny pieces of the sexiest dark chocolate cocoa ever. That was my 2 o'clock.
You made me a sexy snack last week.
Yes, and you're welcome.
It was amazing. It was brie cheese, it was crackers, it was raspberries, it was pomegranates, and it was, you had those tiny little peanut butter cubes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Those were I was like, what are these?
The protein bites.
Oh my God, they're so good.
You know what? I'm going to share with you where I got that food. Do you want to know where I got that food?
Yeah.
From the food bank. Because since I lost my business back in July, I've gone through a complete rehaul. Mm-hmm. I lost everything.
Yeah.
I lost that $30,000 that was in the bank. I gained $60,000 in debt. I owe some close friends money. Mm-hmm. I'm working my ass off to turn it around, to show my kids how resilient their mother can be, and take claim back to the cookie technique, because it did go on hold for quite a while, because I went down that road of a different business adventure that didn't work out. Had I fully stepped into my own cookie technique, totally sky's the limit. But where I am today, you know, I've had people bless me and show up so that I can make sure I keep the lights on and food in my cupboard for my children, and service women when they want their hair done, and teach women as they come through for dance. And I actually had a huge wake-up call only about a month ago. No, it was like 6 weeks ago. I had some things come into my life that were so not in alignment of what I believe in for women empowerment. I'm not going to speak what they were because it's actually private, but I'm so glad it happened because it really kickstarted me to go, wait a minute, I have this gift to share with the world. And here I am. And maybe it was a belief system when I was younger. Maybe I have to live in sacrifice for others, take care of others first, you know, that kind of thing. But I'm like, no, it's not what the cookie technique is. It's about thriving and listening. And I did it before. I could do it again. And I will, but even at a grander scale, because I believe in those possibilities. This last week when I was actually at church, they were talking about tithing. They talked about it 2 weeks in a row. I thought I was going to go nuts, right? But I took it as, I was so glad I got to be there and listen, because they talked about these women that are over in the Kent area that they had built homes for, that were homeless single moms. And they're like talking about, they were talking about helping these single moms for the holidays. And I thought, I want to help them so bad. How can I get more when I am just barely keeping my power on, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I have a plan. I could do this. And so right then, I was like, any woman that comes through my door in the next 45 days, I'm going to take 50% of what I make and I'm giving it to the single moms.
Even though you are a single mom yourself.
Yeah, because if I didn't have my friends and my family and people stepping up to help me, I would be homeless. And I believe in giving.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of shortchanging myself. But I want to show the world that we could do this.
Yeah.
And my church is freaking huge. And the people I surround myself is freaking huge. And if anyone learns what it feels like to be at rock bottom and build yourself back up, it's me. And I've been humbled and I have been gifted. I have a roof over my head. I have the heat on, and I am getting up every single day and working. I have 3 jobs. I even work at a restaurant now. Right. That I've never done anything but hair and dance.
Yeah.
And so for me, with my dyslexia, my learning the way that I do, I was terrified to learn how to work in a restaurant, but I chose to leave my ego at the door and get to know the people that are sitting in this restaurant. And they just come in, and the people that own the restaurant, I've known them for 21 years. They're amazing. And immediately, though, with my little business brain, I was like, ooh, I totally could see where they could definitely increase their revenues by 30%. Like in my head, I'm like figuring it out. And I've learned their entire system in 2 days because I dropped my belief system of like this dyslexia, this fear, and I poured myself into the people, and then my brain just opened up. Yeah. Takes me a little bit longer to write down their, what they want. but I make it fun. I make it about them. I get to know their kids. And so I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I am. I'm going to help these single moms that were homeless.
Yeah.
I thought if a woman could stand up in church and give her freaking car, I will work around the clock until, Christmas to make sure these women and me and my children and everyone feels what it feels like to just give.
Yeah. And
So
I said this before we started recording, but when you do something, Mitzi, you just go all out. Like you're not just like, oh, that sounds like, because most people are like, that sounds like a really good idea. Well, when this happens, or when I take care of this, or when da-da-da-da-da-da, then I'll do that. And Mitzi, you are, no, this is happening now. Like with every, not just with this is an example, but you are, no, this is happening now. And you can hear that in your story with your son. Just like, nope, this is happening now. I don't know how I'm going to do it. And I think that one of the things that's so valuable in you sharing your story and who you are is that you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait until you have perfect circumstances, because guess what? You're never going to have perfect circumstances. But that you really can just be committed and take action and make it work.
Absolutely.
And, I definitely want to talk about your mission and your cookie technique, but I would love to give people the background of Providencia.
Oh.
And because from talking to you, I think that, well, I'll let you talk about it, but I want to know, like, my question is, what happened with Providencia? What is Providencia for those people who don't know?
So Providencia, it's so interesting. I actually drove over there a couple weeks ago by myself. It was a beautiful night. It was just getting dark out. And I thought, okay, I'm totally ready to see Providencia again. And I was like freaking out in my head, like, what if she's changed? What if there's tiki torches and like blow up beach balls everywhere? And it's turned into a frat house. Like, I was like freaking out in my head. But I just kind of calmed myself and I drove over there. And there she was in all her beauty and essence. And I saw the grand staircase, the spiral staircase from the windows. And I didn't go in, like walk around or anything. I didn't want to be rude or disrespectful, but it was this crazy feeling. People said it to me before. People told me this before. They said, Providencia is beautiful, but you're the one that makes Providencia. And I was like, whatever. Like, whatever. And when I saw her, I was like, oh my God. Those people were right. What a huge lesson. You could take that magic anywhere in this world.
Yeah.
Providencia is Providencia Pond Retreat. I don't know what it's called now.
Yeah.
But it was called that. And she was one of the most beautiful gifts a person can receive. Because I really had no business doing what I did there. Like you said, I go big. Yeah, I do fucking go big.
Yeah.
I had money in the bank. I was going to do this. I was going to go save the world. I was going to open a retreat facility where all the healers could come in all the world. And I was going to do the cookie technique all out. And like I said before, the people that came in to give me a consult with business that talked about doing it for Airbnb and like all that kind of stuff. It sucked the life out of me. I was that woman that I was working 7 days a week and I was cleaning like freaking Cinderella. Like I didn't have a cleaning crew. I didn't have a crew around me. I tried to go at it all myself. Like I look back now and I was like, whoa. I actually had people around me that I could have helped. But I don't know if it was my ego. I didn't know if it was because of that blind spot. You know that blind spot where your shoulder, you just don't know what you don't know?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that. But Providencia was was a gift to so many. I got to meet some of the most powerful people, leaders in this world. The little cookie technique that I did do when I was there, when I actually got enough energy to teach what I do and what I love, there's some amazing stories. There's some amazing souls in that building. Like I get to take with me, and those women and those children and those people, anyone that came in, got to take out to the world. Like I can honestly say, it was a healing. It healed. It didn't just heal for all the people that came through. I know it. Like I know it. I had this amazing mother and daughter group come in. This woman with 3 of her daughters, and I watched their relationship flourish like you wouldn't believe afterwards. But I would say that Providencia was, for me, definitely a huge healing ground.
Yeah.
The pond was, the essence was beautiful. The fire pit was beautiful. I have the fire pit here now with me at my home.
Yeah.
But Providencia was going well at first, and I didn't know how to do marketing. I didn't have a team behind me. If I wrote a book, it would be called The Angel, the Unicorn, and What Not to Do in Business. It's just true. Yeah. You know, I've learned so much about contracts and teamwork and investors, and like I could do it like that now. Like no big deal. Given the chance, I could go global with a big old place like Providencia again, but I didn't. And then once I started to not know how to do the marketing, not know how to ask for help, and leaders did come in. I mean, I'm telling you, there's some amazing people I got to meet along the way. I just didn't know how to get it off the ground. Then the fire hit. And when the fire hit, it was like a sign. I should have gotten out then, last February. But I'm stubborn. And I like to hold to my word. When I give my word the best you can. No one's perfect. But
well, you make the best decisions that you can in the moment.
Yeah.
You know.
I had the fire. I didn't have proper insurance for loss of income. I had a few retreats canceled. But, you know, it wasn't the amount of people that canceled. It was because my structure, my plan wasn't on steady foundation. You know, I didn't have the backing financially. And I still just kept trying to hold on, you know, and then I had the theft that stole all my freaking heels. And oh my God, like I've collected high heel stilettos from everywhere I've taught, in Vegas to Texas. Like I collected, and they meant so much to me, and nothing was covered.
Did they steal your Superwoman high heels?
They stole my red Superwoman heels. They
kidding?
stole my cowgirl boots. Like, I can't even tell you. People are like, why didn't you search Craigslist? Why didn't you go after them? Why didn't you vocalize? I actually was in one of the worst depressions of my freaking life. I couldn't talk about what this person did.
Yeah.
I teach women how to stand in heels in confidence. I teach them how to put their hats on in life. And all I could think of was like, ha, fuckers, you didn't take my hats. You know? But you...
Yeah. I know,
So
I
was so angry.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak out.
Yeah.
I couldn't protect myself. I couldn't defend myself. I felt like I was in hell.
Yeah.
You know, and I just, I had friends after that came because I kept trying to raise money for Providencia to save it. But it was also on like the weakest ground possible because I was exhausted. And, you know, I tried different ventures. Like that could have been profitable, but the place wasn't zoned for that, and that was fine. It wasn't meant to be. And then, you know, in the end, I just asked this amazing man. He owned Providencia, Mike. I just said, because he kept offering me to get out. I had a 5-year contract with the guy.
Yeah.
And he offered me to get out multiple times, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I kept holding on. I don't know why. I'm going to go insanity on that one. So, but I was listening to my really dear friend, Sean, talk to him about what other avenues we could do, getting other people involved, helping. And I was just like, I mean, to this day, I still wonder sometimes, like, should I have held on one more time? You know, but when I heard
Sean speaking so earnestly, and he wanted to help people too, and he's all about helping, and he definitely financially was invested in Providencia. I was like, I gotta call this.
Yeah.
I gotta say I'm sorry. And so I asked, this amazing Mike that gave me this opportunity with Providencia. I said, could you please help me for a couple months so I can honor the people that booked for retreats, so I can fulfill their time. And because two of my people, tribes, hearts, souls in the world were getting married at Providencia, and I never got to have a wedding there. And I really wanted it selfishly, I wanted to see that kind of joy and love, because when you walked into Providencia, there was signs everywhere that said love.
Yeah.
And I really wanted that. So I held on. I made no fucking money for 2 months, except for if I did hair. But I could hardly stand to do hair because my energy was so busy cleaning up after people's retreats and crying my fucking head out, often. And the last few weeks was excruciating.
Yeah.
I was drinking coffee. I'm telling you, I was not living my cooking technique,
Right.
I was drinking coffee like it was like holy grail water, and I was just eating top ramen because I couldn't pay for anything, and I was literally spitting blood. My gums were bleeding. My heart was breaking.
Yeah.
I felt like a failure to my children. And so, moving forward, getting out of there, I couldn't even hardly ask for help. Packing up, I did it myself mostly. And then a crew came in that last day to move the big stuff. But that was I just try to dance there every day and send my heart and soul into that earth for the next people coming. I wanted to wish success on whoever got to go in there. And, some of my fondest memories of Providencia was, it's actually sad, but it's beautiful. I had a woman client of mine that was a cookie client that she finally got to have a baby, and her baby passed away. And she wanted to have her services at Providencia. And little baby Luna, we had those services there. And she believes in love and women empowerment, and she wanted her little girl's essence to be felt and loved there. There's so many people that came in with different types of leadership councils and groups and women empowerment. I could go on, but there was so much that happened within those walls that I know got to radiate out. And so no matter if I was spitting blood, I knew I had done something.
Yeah.
And what I have done since then is I came home and got pretty pissed off. And I didn't know what to do. And my own home had been falling apart since I'd done Providencia. And so when I don't know what to do or how to process, I just clean. And so I just started cleaning out my home. And I just started selling things that were not necessary because I just don't believe in materialism. It's not huge for me. And so I just started selling off things so I could start paying off debts for Providencia immediately and keeping food on the table and lights on in my home. And I got angry about some things. I made some stuff happen. When my ex, when we divorced, there was a lot of things that were left on my property, such as a giant boat and a motorhome and, everything. And I just rolled up my sleeves every single day, broke my nails, cried my head off, cleaned up my barn, sold stuff out of there, put angel wings on my barn because that's what I do with the cookie technique. I had a girlfriend come out with her business, and I'll be highlighting her in 2 weeks and sharing her artwork on my barn of angel wings. One side is black and white, and the other one is white with a little bit of gray and black. And it's to represent like holy, like we're really angels. All of us are angels in this world, and we go through really bad times and we go through really great times, but they're equal and they're perfect and they're whole. And we have to go through those dark times to understand how beautiful the light times are. And as she put those angel wings on my barn, I got stronger. I felt the healing happening at my own property. the light coming back, getting rid of that boat, that motorhome. I even got up one morning, like at 4:30 in the morning, and listed my broke down, shitty hot tub that has been collecting Jumanji-sized mosquitoes for 2 years, and it is horrible. And I put it up on Marketplace to be hauled off for free. And this guy contacted me right away, and he's like, I want your hot tub. I'm like, ooh, I got to tell you, it's bad. Like, I tried to climb in there. It was so freaking cold to get all the leaves out. I told him the pump had blown. I made sure it blew up like 2 years ago, and I was pissed off in it. And
you do things big, Mitzi.
and like I said, I'm not sure if you want to come. And he's like, I want to come. And so when he came, and he's like, oh, it's pretty bad. And I said, listen, you know what? I don't know if this is going to make a difference, but it would mean the world to me. I cannot pay you to remove this hot tub, but this hot tub was a really big part of my life when I was married. I was married for 20 years and 25 years together with him. But that was kind of like our fun place to be. We went in there every single night. It held a lot of memories, and I was just ready to like have it go because I'm really taking claim to my property and making it this beautiful, enriching, gorgeous, place. And I just really wanted those things to go away. Not bad or wrong. I just needed it gone.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you would be doing such a service, not only to me, but so many women coming through here, because they will see that there's a lot that I let go for like 4 years, but I'm cleaning it up now. You can always start now. Yeah. And so he and his brother like worked almost like 5 hours. I got pictures. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Of, them moving the hot tub. And we had a conversation afterwards, and he was so proud of himself for getting that thing out of there.
I bet.
And he was so kind and generous. He goes, I'm so glad I could help you. And I said, I'm grateful. And we talked about his life and his brother and who they were in this world. And you could just tell that it was mutually that we were all grateful.
Yeah.
Like really going to make a difference. And of course, then I was like, so how much are you going to get this for this hot tub once you fix it up? And he's like, I could tell you now that it's loaded on my trailer. And I'm like, go ahead. And he's like, $1,500. Oh, wow. I'm like, that's amazing. I'm like, you have this beautiful skill. And I said, I'm going to challenge you. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm going to challenge
Always
you.
giving people an assignment.
And I said, 50%. Find it for a good cause. 50%. If everyone lived off of 50% of their income, like truly, and paid all their bills plus some, I don't think we'd have a problem with poverty. I think we would give so much in this world that it would flourish everything, And I'm not, obviously, I lost my business, so numbers weren't my best, so whatever. But I'm just saying, you get a beautiful gift and you keep sharing it, it's going to make a difference in this world. So that's what I did here. Yeah. And you can see my deck that I enclosed for my pole studio with my stage. I, with some friends, put a lot of elbow grease into that place. And it may not be like Providencia, but it has so much richness and soul. And the music just pours out of it. And, I have high hopes and goals too by next year. Because this is the home of the cookie technique now. July 3rd, I actually set the date to have a photo shoot here. My goal is to have 300 women show up and perfect, whole and complete right where they are, and do a professional photo shoot with me. If it's 3,000, even better. I'm like, I guess I'll have to rent out all my neighbors' homes and stuff for this thing. But to saturate the grounds, to be the home of the cookie technique, to show 3,000 to 3,000 to 3 million women what love is in this world, unconditional loving yourself, and getting into your skin looks like. So July 3rd is the date that I set to do that global.
Count me in.
Yeah, I know. I already knew that. It's a Friday, so mark your calendar now. You get to have a wonderful 3 to 4 day weekend, starting with a gorgeous photo shoot. Ooh. I already have vehicles donated to me because I always wanted to have a badass photo shoot on a Harley, a semi-truck, a Hummer, and my dad's tractor that's in the field. That's what I got when my dad passed away, was his tractor. And so I'm pretty sure there's going to be so many elements. Of course, the stage will be set, so people to get pole pictures. But heck, I'm going to have women out at the barn with the angel wings. I have a pole that lights up in the barn. So, we're just going to spread and saturate it, and hopefully globally light women's hearts and souls on
absolutely.
fire.
Well, I'll talk to you about that, and we'll talk about how I can be involved and how love dripping from the walls can
Oh my
be
God.
involved.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Fabulous. Okay, so that's, first of all, thank you for sharing all of that. And I really got everything that you went through and the hopes and the dreams that you had. And I experienced, the love and healing and power and essence of Providencia
Yeah.
several times. I was there for a workshop. That was when we first met. Mm-hmm. I was there for the workshop, the orgasmic workshop, which was
Orgasmic living workshop.
orgasmic living workshop, which was incredible. And I was, wow. So
What would you say, like, looking back? Because I know what I got out of that workshop. Living in your skin orgasmically and sharing it, like, that much on fire from your skin. What did you get out of that experience?
what I got out of that experience was embracing my sensuality and sexuality at any time, because at that point my marriage was also crumbling, and I just wasn't in a great place. And I remember I showed up and was, again, I was just depleted, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna get out of this, and I know that I need it. And when I left, even though my circumstances hadn't changed, I just felt beautiful, and I felt sexy, and I got to be sensual for the first time, and I love being sensual. I love being sensual. It fills me up. It fills my cup. It just makes me whole and complete. And you saw it.
Yeah, I got to witness it. When you
Yeah.
let your hair down, I
Yeah.
was like, because when you walked in, your hair was not coming down.
I had this tight bun.
It was a very tight bun. It was very pretty, by the way. But that moment,
I was depleted, but I looked good.
you did, of course. We all look great when we're depleted. We just show up with that little smile. We got this, and we're like, "Oh my God, feed me, fill my cup." But I got to watch you go from that tight bun to the moment of release when your hair went down your back, and I was like, "That is so fucking orgasmic," and it was so sensual, and it was so real and raw. That moment, I was like, it caught my breath. Like I was just like, "Wow, that's so neat."
Well, I know that it did because you've talked to me about it every time that you see me. Since then, for like a year.
I know. I think, well, obviously I've done hair for how long? So hair is a huge turn on for me, right?
Right.
It's something I'm very good at and I'm passionate. So when you literally just were like, your breath was just like, and you were wanting that, you released.
Yeah.
And it was so sensual and it was so raw. And I was like, this is why we're here. This is why we do these workshops. That's what Providencia, like I said before, had I fully lived into Providencia Pond Retreat, the home of the cookie technique, and not try to do Airbnbs and stuff I was not good at, had I really harnessed the women like I had surrounded with me, they're like out there probably in a drought going, hello, bring us in. And I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And some came forth because they were like extraordinary. Obviously I did the workshops and stuff. And there's a lot that stepped forward, but I could have brought in millions. I didn't see that potential. I didn't know. I was that blind.
Right.
You know?
Well, that was my next question is, what did you learn?
I learned so much about love. I learned so much about forgiveness. I learned that we all make mistakes and that there's people there for you. And that even though you've been knocked off your fucking rocker from, cookie crumbling for 4 years, that there's still a way, that there's still a beautiful dance. And even if your hip is hurt, and I learned how to give unconditionally. I learned how to stand for people and not not take on their stuff and just be a stand for them.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Really,
especially for someone who wants to give so much. That's huge.
yes, yeah.
Say more about that. That you don't have to take on their stuff.
Don't take on their stuff. The thing that I've learned about that is that when you don't take on their stuff, you can even stand more fully for them.
Yeah.
And really be a reflection, a mirror. You know how they talk about mirror love? You can actually be a mirror love for other people. That is part of the cookie technique. I shit you not.
Yeah.
Is being a mirror for those that you love, for strangers. That's why I sent my client out yesterday and gave her the word vulnerability. I'm like, go for it. This is going to be fun. It's going to be orgasmic.
Yes.
I get to watch her now. And like, yeah, I learned, I mean, obviously practical. I learned what not to do with business, what to do, what I'm good at, what I'm not. I've learned that I'm a powerhouse and I need to use my powers for good, not evil. And I just learned what other people's love is. Learning their love languages, watching people is just incredible. I'm doing Wonder Woman Wednesdays or Woman Crush Wednesdays. Depends on the person, how I feel. Is it Wonder Woman? Is it Woman Crush? Whatever, right? I'll choose when that day comes. But I get to like highlight other women every single week for what they're doing and standing in the world. It's like the biggest gift. I keep interviewing these people. It's getting bigger and bigger. And I get to watch the movement from like, it's almost like watching from, it's a glass house. I'm standing on the outside and I'm watching people come alive. And it's a gift. So I've learned so much about love. I've learned about how to be humble. I've learned that there's always a way. And living with intention, integrity, and communication. I mean, we could sit here and write a freaking book about what I've learned.
Yeah.
And I've, honestly, I've learned in the last 35 days that I've been doing my cookie global love mission to get my own cookie back. I've learned I could go off the earth tomorrow knowing how much I love myself.
Wow.
And I thought I had known that when I created the freaking cookie technique.
Years ago.
When I got that phone call in Vegas saying my marriage was over and I was shooting that commercial, I crumbled. That's when it all went away for me. I had to get home, take care of my children, and I have been in survival mode since. But I guess you could say that by losing Providencia and going through what I did, I won the fucking lottery. I won the lottery. And it can only go up from here. So, and I will, I have a goal. I want to be on the Ellen Show.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm taking my portrait that I actually have a piece of artwork I painted. You could come with me because you're part of the cookie technique, just to let you know. Or if you go with your dripping from the walls love, and you could take me because, I helped you. But I have a painting that's in my room that's above my head when I sleep. It's on top of my fake freaking fireplace that I installed myself, by the way. I've done so many guy things around here. Ew. But
whatever, you've done some amazing things. You are a self-sufficient and empowered human being. Mitzi.
You know what's really funny is I could take that as a compliment and say thank you. I now know how to fix a garbage compactor, turn on a generator. I did fix the hot tub before it blew up, but then that went away. Like cleaning out everything. My ceiling actually has a leak in my bedroom, and the ceiling started sagging, and I thought, you know what, God, hi universe, I've been able to do so much the last 4 years, but I don't know how to fix a ceiling. Come on, throw me a bone here, right? So so I wanted to get on the Ellen Show because I painted a portrait when I got Providencia. I actually went to this sip and wine thing, and I did it because my friend that came into town is an artist, and I thought that would be a great way to be a host, take her to a sip and wine. Yeah. And then my assistant came with me as well, and it's a beautiful place in Israel that I just love, Vina Bella. And we sat down, and their music that they were playing was amazing.
So I started kind of humming along to it. And then I did have like a quarter glass of wine. I don't drink that much. So I'm telling you, a quarter glass, I was like, right? And then the instructor said something really important. She said, if you don't know how to do these mountains, do what you know. And so I was like, fuck this, I can't do these mountains. And it's not really my style anyways. So I just kind of started making strokes on this page. I shit you not. And what ended up coming out of it was the most beautiful creation. I'm an artist. Like, I should be like, Leonardo da Vinci stuff. I'm not kidding. Because what came out of this was the mountains turned into a silhouette of a lady's body, the hips. The bottom part, which was supposed to be like the ocean, ended up turning into the most beautiful cookie vagina. Okay? You can't really see it unless I describe it to you. Like, you have to look past and see this. Mm-hmm. And then the other side of the mountain looked like a giant rat coming in to eat the woman's clit, which was surrounded by a heart that I had scaved things up on him. Like, it was a broken heart, right? Mm-hmm. And then underneath, on the right side, so the left side. I have to think about the picture here backwards. I painted Nemo. And it looks like a fire pit underneath this beautiful silhouette of this woman's body. Mm-hmm. Like the s'mores to life, loving yourself right where you are. People that don't know, the s'mores to life is, I have a fire pit at Providencia that I didn't want people to come to Providencia and not have a s'mores because my dad passed away, not having a s'more on this earth. So it really meant a lot to me that people came and shared their love and their stories through s'mores. So that's that. But this picture has this like little fire pit and flames coming up, and this beautiful cookie, this vagina, this, what's another word, yoni, this, whatever, had scars going through it. But underneath was Nemo. And it was just, Dory's little voice, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. It's a masterpiece. And I wanted to share that on the Ellen Show because it's beautiful. That's what I do with the cookie technique. We have been damaged and injured so many different ways as women in this world. But there's always a way. There's always a just keep swimming. And that's what makes us beautiful, perfect, whole, and complete, is that we have had that. And the little rat that's coming in from the side, that's coming at, I didn't even know I had painted a rat. And that's society. That's the I guess the icon of society, or what's the word I'm looking for? That life will eat away at you,
Yeah.
and keep coming at you. But it's so beautiful and magical because just keep swimming,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I mean, I'm interested to see I'm like, I want to see the painting now and see like what it actually,
Yeah.
Because I have a vision in my head of what it looks like, and I'm like, I'm sure it doesn't look like how it looks in my head.
Well, when we're on the Ellen Show, you'll see it. No, just kidding.
Or I'll just walk back and look at it after this.
Yeah, you can totally go in my bedroom. I'm just like thinking big here. Okay, so. But
No,
yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, I think that that's beautiful because it is what you have learned, is that, you can do anything. Like, it doesn't matter what has happened. Like, you've had, and last week you shared even more about, things that have happened in your life. And with everything that you've been through, with everything that you've built and created, that it doesn't matter. Like,
It's what makes you, though.
Yeah.
Had I not gone through, and I like to, I'm going to keep a lot of things private because I think it's important to honor people in your life and where you are. But I've gone through things now that when women come to me, first of all, I wouldn't wish some of the things I went through. Of course, I told you some really deep, intimate stuff that occurred through my divorce and stuff like that. But I could have so much more reflection, so much more love. And I was like literally thinking about this last night when I went to bed. I thanked the universe, and the whole spiritual realm and God and everything. I gave a huge thank you because had I not walked that path, and thank God I was the woman that walked the path on so many of those things, because I can turn it around and make a difference in this world.
Yeah.
You know, and I know there's a lot of women that would not have been able to go through what I did at all. I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Yeah.
But with that, it's made me who I am.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so.
And I guess I didn't mean it doesn't matter, like it doesn't matter that it happened, but it doesn't matter as in it happened and you get to choose how you can be, act, create, move forward. And you do that.
I call it dancing forward.
Dancing forward.
Yep, 3 songs a day. If you don't know what to do, just turn on music and dance 3 songs. You'll know what to do. Because you lose your heart and soul into music and you let that go away. I heard a quote a while ago really helped me when I was at the thick of it cleaning out my property. And I was over at the barn. I got stung by some stinging nettles. I was so pissed. But I heard a quote. I remember stopping and reading some passages out there, and one of those little meme quote things popped up.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad it did. I'm so glad I took a break because I was sweating and it was terrible, yucky. And it said, focus 10% on the problem and 90% on the solution.
Yes.
And I thought, how can I put that into the cookie technique? How can I serve women? So, because it was so freeing to me to read that. Oh my God, right? And I was like, simple. For me, what it means to me, how I could translate it is seriously 3 songs a day, dance, get out of your skin, focus on the music. It's healing and go. I promise you, if you're having a huge problem and you're sobbing and your sinuses are about to fucking blow up on the ground, you get up, go through that motion first, because I always teach my students to go through that time. But when you're done, turn on music, sway, move, 3 songs. It'll snap you out of whatever is going on.
Yeah. And I absolutely believe that as well, is that if you focus on the problem will only persist. And that's not to shove it aside, because you need to deal with whatever there is to deal with. You need to feel the emotions that there are to feel. You need to have the thoughts that there are to have. You need to, like you said when you got back from Providencia, that you were angry.
Oh, I was
and it's
angry,
just like,
pissed.
yeah, it's just like, and it's important to acknowledge and go through that, but then being able to focus on the solution, because that's what's going to save you, is that focus on the solution. Because if you just keep focusing on the problem, it's only going to stay there.
Well, yeah, and when I was closing Providencia, I told you how bad the last few weeks was. I was doing 90% focused on the problem, 10% on the solution. I was not in a good place. And I don't blame myself at all. I mean, it was really hard going through that. But looking back now, and I showed up every day. I serviced everyone. But in my mind, I was focusing on 90% of the problem, 10% of the solution. But when I came home and I had that transformational moment, if you will, or all these moments together, I was like, it's like a fresh of breath air. I get it. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Now what? 90% of the solution? 90% of the solution for me is fun. Like, I get to dance with women every day. I get to do their hair. I get to go out and do talks with women. I get to share blessings and keep the movement going. 90% of the solution is awesome.
Totally. So how is the cookie technique going to save the world?
Like I said before, it's going to offer so many women freedom. And hopefully I could get women, not hopefully, my intention is to get women globally dancing in their own skin, forgiving themselves in ways they never dreamt were possible, and sharing love through them with the world. Like, that's my mission, is to the Cookie Global Love mission. And I don't care if I don't need to benefit financially. I don't need to benefit from anything. Like I said, 500 years from now, that's my goal, is a little girl gets up 500 years from now and says, I love myself. I love my cookie. She never thinks about starving herself. She never thinks about, she just loves herself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like there's not even a world where there is self-harm.
Yeah. And
Like it doesn't even occur. It doesn't even occur that way. You just wake up and you're in a world of love for yourself.
Yeah. And you know what? 500 years from now, because of that, there won't be any weight scales. Like I told you, my waking up moment, the part that saved me 4 years ago when I got the call that I was going to go through a divorce, and I was in the shower in Vegas, and I stumbled out of the shower an hour before I went through my first commercial. I was freaking an international pole superstar at that time. I didn't even realize it, by the way. I'm glad I didn't. Naiveness has saved me in many cases. But, I stumbled out of the shower crying, and I looked down underneath the counter, and there was a scale. My room didn't even have a coffee maker, for God's sake. My room didn't have a refrigerator. What else did it? It didn't have a microwave. It had nothing, but it had a scale. Mm-hmm. Who's going to weigh themselves in Vegas? And then right then, God gave me that blessing. The universe gave me that blessing. I fell out of the shower. My life is crumbling. I'm going through a divorce. My children are at home. There's nothing I could do. And I look down and I see a scale. Mm-hmm. And I literally was like, oh, hell no. No.
Yeah.
No. So 500 years from now, I would really hope that, I know that.
I hope that it's sooner than 500 years.
Okay. Yes. The next 2 years, all the scale businesses are going out of business. I don't need people coming after me. Okay. But what I'm saying is it's good to get on the scale just to check health wise if you're interested, but it shouldn't be the way that you live your life. Mm-hmm. That's not who you are. Those numbers don't define you, and food is beautiful. It's prosperous. It's gorgeous. It's an abundance way of living. Water, it's so sexy, right? Rub that all over your body. Yoo-hoo, right? And so, So I went through one of the hardest times, but I got right back up and I shot that commercial. Mm-hmm. And if you see my commercial from Vegas, you'll be like, nuh-uh. She did not just have the worst crying fit 1 hour before shooting that and going out as the cookie technique. Mm-hmm. And so, and by the way, for those that have actually listened this long, the cookie technique was developed around the Oreo cookie because I teach women how to love eating cookies in life too. Yes, there is a different meaning. I got onto that later, but it was literally because I had a woman come running up to me and say, oh my God, you're Mitzi, you lost like 70 or 80 pounds. I love cookies. I eat the whole box. And I watched her dance that afternoon, and I understood where her intentions were with food. Long story short, I showed her what it looked like to dance into only eating 3 cookies versus a whole box of cookies, making love to it or fucking the shit out of it instead of mindlessly eating the whole box. And then she promised she would never look at cookies quite the same. So the cookie technique really was based off of a woman coming up to me and saying, I eat the whole box of Oreo cookies. That's how it started, because that was the day I looked a woman in the eye and was like, oh, I have something to share with her. You don't need to eat the whole box. You can have 3. You can have 3 every single day. Make love to that cookie, and move joyously. Have joy in your life. Dance, move, So I'm rambling.
No, I think it's beautiful. It really is coming from a world of abundance.
Yeah.
Like instead of coming from a world of scarcity, and I think that when you talk about the, fitness industry and like what we've created in our society is acceptable or not acceptable with your weight and how you should look and what you need to do in order to look that way, it does come from a place of scarcity. I mean, you look at diets, that's why people hate dieting, because it's comes from a place of scarcity. Well, you can't eat that. You can only eat this amount. You can't eat that amount. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. And it's actually really funny because a couple episodes ago, talked with Steve Yang about conditioning and conditioning positive and negative reinforcement.
Okay.
And that positive reinforcement, just reminding me of this, that positive reinforcement is the best way to succeed. It's the best way to train yourself. It's the best way to train other people is positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
And being able to come from that place of, and that's what you do. You come from a place of abundance, like love yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't have the whole box, but like eat 3 cookies a day.
love
You know,
to-
make love to those
Make love to
cookies.
it. Well, the thing is I show them, actually, it's really sexy how I show them to eat the cookies.
I'm
Because
sure
I
it is.
really want to get it into their heads.
I'm
How
sure it
amazing
is.
it can be.
I had a session with you last week. That was the other part about the session last week, is that we got to dance for a song.
Yes.
Yes, and we got to be like sexy and sensual, and you are. I'm saying, everything that you do, Mitzi, is full out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, but I really got that, and one of the things that I hear in what you're speaking is that you get to trust yourself.
Yeah. I had to, the other day when I thought about how much, like if I died tomorrow, how much I love myself, I was like, what is that? That's a gift. And I have learned to trust myself with people, with things, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of morbid to say that, if I die tomorrow, I get to love myself, but I would rather.
We're not promised tomorrow.
You know, we're not. And there's so many of us that are like, okay, I'm a mom, I'm a single mom, I'm a wife, or I'm like whatever. I have to be this certain way, I have to do this certain thing, and they're doing things that they need to do, they're supposed to do, but they're not. They're almost numb. They're checking in a time clock and checking out, checking in and checking out, and it's almost kind of like you just need to sprinkle a little pixie dust, like where do you stand? When I give homework to my ladies, I teach them how to, it's called dumping your cookie, and it's an exercise, of like just relieving and letting go things that are holding themselves back through a dance movement that I teach. It's really easy, but it's releasing anything that's negative or anything that's holding you back in your mind, pouring it down your body, shooting it to the center of the universe, and then picking up your own glitter shit and bringing it back up to your body and saturating your heart and soul like a do-over every single time, And that's what I say to my students. I teach them how, even if they're in the car, and they're just on automatic or whatever, or I've had people say, I drive from point A to point B and I don't even remember getting there. I'm so flustered, I don't like my life or whatever. I'm like, okay, when you catch yourself in those situations, like, stop, no blame, just dump your cookie, listen to music, just let go of whatever blame or any shame or anything that's in life. Let it go so that you could just kind of pick up all the sparkle glitter shit from the middle of the universe and pour it out to the world. Because that's what we're here for, is to share our glitter and our, glitter shit with the world. Like, give, And that's how I want to be remembered. Like, I want to be remembered from giving it my all to help as many people before I go on this earth. I was talking to my children recently about, it's really hard when you can't take your daughter to Victoria's Secret or get your son the new shoes he really wants, and Christmas is coming up, so it's fucking scary. Like, talking to them about the value in life and who you are as an individual and what you stand for and how you could keep giving. Even my son, like I literally was getting my truck appraised to sell, and he said, "Mom, listen to your truck." And I was like, oh my God, he's totally cooking me back.
You've trained them.
I know, right?
You've trained them.
And he's like,
trained them to be amazing human beings.
Thank you. He's like, let's think about this because, we don't need stuff. And I'm like, but it would be so much easier. Like, I could pay a couple people back and, I could go for the next few months and not have this every single day. And he's like, oh, Mom, And he knew for a moment that I was just kind of going back to that scarcity and a little bit scared for a moment. But then he's like, listen to your truck. It hasn't done anything. And we need a good vehicle for the winter. It protects us, And he was like, I'm just about to get my license. I might need to use it. And I was like, oh, you know how it is. You got to protect your children, right? And I went, oh, thank you. I know the universe will provide. I'll be fine. Thank you. But the truck did need to be cleaned, so I'm glad I cleaned it, detailed it inside and out, Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. Everything, Mitzi, who you are in this world is giving.
Yeah.
And that's what people get when being around you. And I think that that's a beautiful place to
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will say that I don't think, no, it's not a thing. I know without a doubt, had I not gone through every single thing I went through the last 4 years, and particularly with Providencia, I would not have understood the concept of giving the way that I do. I would not have understood the concept of love the way that I do. And I may have died a very unhappy person. I'm not sure. I'm glad I don't know. But I will tell you that every experience collectively has just like made me burst. Like when I was talking to you about those homeless single moms. Yeah, I could have been one of them.
Yeah.
And I still do hold my breath to pay the power bill right now. And actually, that's okay. I make it a game. I make it beautiful. And every time a woman steps out of my home, I know that my dog has loved them. My older dog, Doppler, he knows when women are going through things. My other dog, Pixie, will like blesses them with her little blankies and stuff like that. You know, some people, you know, I have to ask if they have allergies and stuff like that to make sure it's okay. But they're stepping into my home. Yeah. They're seeing me live my cookie, and they leave here giving. And that is that's my whole mission.
Yeah. And you're doing it beautifully.
Thank you.
And resiliently.
Yeah. I'm glad I had the awakening, or I went through all the hell I did to get to where I am today. So, and I have a really long road in front of me right now with my daughter, and people are stepping up and helping me with her, so she can see that, you know, the stuff she's going through with her school and where she's going through in her life, that I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with her and I over the next 6 or 7 months. She'll be here for the photo shoot for sure, because she's one of my best, like, she doesn't really know it right now, but she's one of my favorite ambassadors for the cookie technique. And I can't wait to watch her flourish. And I know it'll be, you know, quite the interesting road. I did not know that teenagers, you know, I've never yelled at my children. And I've had a couple incidences lately that I was like, oh my. I've always had conversations.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple people come forward and go, oh, this is just the beginning. So stand your ground, you know, and love unconditionally. And so moving forward, I really get to not only invite women into my home and globally with the world watching doing this, but I get to really, this is my third chance. Like I said before, the first wake up call was my dad when he passed away. My son, when he got ran over from the horses, that started me on this cookie journey, if you will. And now with my daughter, like I am so empowered to make sure. I took her out last week when she was going through it, something in her life that was really sad that she was going through, and just grabbed a couple dozen of eggs and we threw them at trees. I just, because like, why sit there and lecture a teenager, like, or what's going on? And they don't want that. We're just going to throw eggs and just say what we're pissed off about and let it go and, you know, laugh. And I got her laughing and it was incredible. And yes, sometimes I do have my cookie clients throw eggs at trees, by the way, after we go on the gratitude walk, but the cookie loop. But yeah, like just,
Well, you call it release. What did you say? Releasing your shit. That's what you said.
Dumping your cookie.
Dumping your cookie.
Yeah,
Dumping your
get
cookie.
it out.
Really,
Sometimes you gotta be, you know, do it in different ways and creative. Like I remember I got this thing from someone a long time ago because I was always that PTA mom making cookies at the bus stop. I couldn't wait. Like I worked my work schedule around so I could make sure I was there before and after school. And I remember someone saying to me, don't ever ask your child how their day was. What you do is you say, what was your favorite thing? Was there baked potatoes at lunch today? Did you explore at recess? It was raining. Did you have inside rain? And engage them in conversation. Because if you ask a child how their day was, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be, it was fine.
It's fine. It's good.
It's good. Right? Because they're tired after school and stuff like that. But if you say, did you see Miss Gregory at lunch today? Or how did you help someone today? Was that in your third class today that you helped someone? Or did you build your little Valentine's today with so-and-so? So it's kind of led me on the path. That was a wonderful gift that someone gave me, because now I look outside the box on almost everything.
Oh, well, and Mitzi, it's, you pay attention. I don't know if you know that, but people don't hold on to those lessons like you hold on to those lessons. Like, you use life as a game, as a lesson, as a growing opportunity. Mm-hmm. And you take what's given to you and you use it. And that's also what I mean by you're very intuitive. It's because you listen. And you give people the opportunity to do the same thing. And it's beautiful. And my word last week was...
Your homework?
Yeah. Well, you gave me that list. You gave me the sheet. And was like, pick out your word. And I said, my word isn't on here. Can I write a word on here?
That was awesome. I was like, please give me words.
And I said, home.
Yeah.
And you are a space of home where women can come back, can find their center, can be held, can be safe. Because when you're able to come back to, it's okay, I'm okay, it's okay. All there is from there is growth. You're not in that scarcity mode anymore. You're like, oh, I'm okay, I'm held. Mm-hmm. And then you can discover whatever there is for you to discover. You can start to listen. You can start to give. That's what you gave me last week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I want to say what you gave me was huge hope. I have been trying to balance things so much that doing the Cookie Global Love Mission has been worked into, obviously, my regular life, and I have 3 jobs. So, if you will, I was blaming myself for not as many women already joining in and doing this movement with me. And what you gave me last week when you said home, it made me pause for a second. I colored. I have this coloring book that's all heels with affirmations.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
of course you do. I love that.
Thank you. Well, I do that with my clients. If they show up and they're all frazzled, I don't want that energy around me. So I put them and make them color for a few minutes.
You're so funny.
You can't go dance if you're in a fuzzy, weird state. But anyways, I sat down and I was like, what? I do this for my clients all the time. I'm going to do this myself. So I sat down. I was like, I love my home. Thank you for that gift. And thank you for jumping in on the, Cookie Love Mission, because, by next July, 300 women saturating this property, or 3,000, I don't give a crap. We'll take over the field down below my house.
Yeah,
Steve
perfect.
loves me. My neighbor loves me. And so with that, you gave me hope. You gave me another level of love for my home, another level of appreciation and gratitude. And you gave me hope. And all these other women are jumping in and they're posting every day. And if they don't post every day and say what their word is. So the Cookie Global Love Mission is, I've asked women to show up fully in their skin and pick a word every single day that they wanted to live by or share by or be by. And just write what that word has meant to them. And so, and share it with their sisters and their mothers and their nieces and whatever it is. And, I have a handful of women that have started this movement with me. And like I said, I just want it to go global so that women can be. I have a couple women in the group that have actually chosen words of what was Michelle's word the other day? It was really funny, but it was, I can't remember the word right now and I won't take the time to do it, but she was in a shitty place.
Yeah.
And she just said, this is where I am today.
Yeah.
And that's the cookie technique too, getting real.
Yeah.
If you're in a shitty place, your name's Shitty Tishers, I don't care, I don't know what the word would be, but you write about how you felt and how you moved through it, because that's the real reason, that's the real cookie in life, And some women are, what's really cool is women have been picking words that they're not as sexy as I thought they would be, and that's okay. They're about home and family and love and delicious and intention. Yesterday, my word was hangry because I was having so much fun with my clients.
Yeah.
That I literally, I'd been drinking my sexy water all day, and I had a couple protein, snacks here and there and a protein shake, but I really hadn't eaten. And then the switch just went boop, and I was like, T-Rex, get out of my way. I need meat. So my word for the day, I thought I was giggling, and and some people are like, well, don't you have your 30-day spread of your cookie technique written out and have it produced and ready to go? No, people, I live my cookie right where it is every single day. So the word comes to me when it comes to me.
Right.
Believe me, I've been that woman that studied marketing of when the times of day was the best to post. Like I have a spreadsheet. You want to see it? I know when you're supposed to. And I was trying to do all that stuff, and I was like, this is not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Maybe one day a marketing manager will come along and be like, okay, keep living your life, but I'm going to spread it out this way. And you can go further. I don't know. But I live my cookie. I live my cookie. So I'm going to share with you when it's time to share, and be authentic in my skin. And so yesterday, my word was hangry.
Yeah.
And
That's perfect.
And there's been women saying their word is grateful and gratitude and love, and it's just incredible. So
Yeah. No, and it's been a beautiful place to share.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a beautiful place to share. It's been really amazing, and I'm so honored and privileged to help you on your cookie global love mission.
Thank you.
I think that I know that you're already going to do amazing things because you already have done amazing things, and it only gets bigger and better and brighter from here, and you already have contributed so much to people. I don't even think you know or realize the extent to which you have impacted people in a beautiful way. I don't think that you know. It's not possible. It's not possible for you to know the impact that you've had, because it wouldn't be possible to go interview the hundreds of thousands of people who you have talked to or touched or have seen your photographs or have been inspired by your videos or any we would have to have a team of people to go interview people and see how those impacts that you have spread out in people's lives and the lives that they have impacted. I want you to know that you're already global.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this is just another step that you get to take. And I'm so ecstatic to be a part of that. And with that, is there anything else that you would like to plug, or how can we find you, or what should people listen for, sign up for, click on?
Oh, it always gets this part, and I'm always like, ooh. So I am on Instagram, The Cookie Technique. Facebook, The Cookie Technique. My name is Mitzi Cole. Please, stalkers, stay away. I have a private group that's called the Badass Cookies of the Cookie Technique, the home of the Cookie Technique. So if you want to find me and be a part of our private group, I'd be happy to welcome you in. Once you do find that private group, if you will share that with all your girlfriends, if you feel like you want to be, you're like, oh my God, I love this group. Let's grow. Let's do this. Then invite all your girlfriends, because you can invite as many people as you want to in the group. I didn't put any restrictions on it. I think it's awesome. I don't have time to search everyone out. So if you can help and help me build it and get it out there, that'd be awesome. Let's see. I did have to take my website down because it cost too much to maintain with everything. So sadly, we saved it. So as soon as I can, because the woman that actually developed my website, literally felt like she crawled into my brain and picked everything I had ever wanted with the cookie technique, and she did it. And when I had to shut it down because I couldn't afford to have it, it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. And I promised her I would be back. And she set it aside. And I will get it out there again when I can one day, you know? So for now, I'm on Instagram and Facebook
and my own name. And yeah.
Yeah. And how can we help you get it back? How are you? Do you have a place where you can donate to? Do you have things that people can buy? Do you have products? How can we get you the monetary resources that you need in order to get your website back and to continue to grow?
Referrals. I really love working. Like I don't consider what I do work. Whether it me doing your hair, I don't know how it happens, but I get to work magic on these women when they come in to get their hair done. Like, it just happens. I'm impressed every time I do someone's hair. I'm like, wow, it's so cool. And they get to go out in the world and share this beautiful look that I created. So if you want your hair done, I'd be so happy to do your hair. And if you're interested in learning my 5-week cookie technique, or sharing it with, if there's a man out there that is like, I got to get my wife or my girlfriend to this woman, I have gift certificates.
Or
Sisters, mom, anything.
Yeah.
I literally helped a friend recently that was going through a problem. It was a guy, I don't work with guys very often, but he's like, can you help my girlfriend? I really want this for my girlfriend. And I did. And he's like, I can't believe it. We were going to therapy. We were doing all this stuff. And nothing was making a difference. And she comes and spends this time with you. And it's like a new woman. She's beautiful. She's sensual. She's raw. She's organic. She's exactly her cookie. And people ask me all the time, what is this? What can I get from the cookie? I'm like, I don't know. The time you spend with me, that I teach you the dance and the lessons and the homework, the last class is called Getting Your Cookie. And I don't know what that looks like. It's different for every single person. So if you want to help contribute to me, please come get your hair done. Please let me teach you the cookie technique so you could go out there and share it with the world. If I don't know how to do donations, but if you want to, you can look me up and text me on Facebook Messenger. Call me, 425-766-0179.
You want to put your phone number out there?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, great.
That's my cookie phone number. That's my business number.
Fabulous.
And so if you want to help me, like I said, when I actually physically work on someone in the next 6 weeks before Christmas, I'm going to take a portion, 50% of it, and give it back to that homeless shelter. I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
And it's not because, it's scary because the sound guy, Sean's here. And like, he knows my situation. And if I can get anyone to realize how far they can go by giving, then I'm going to show you in the next 6 weeks what giving looks like. And I'm going to show you what building a clientele looks like. And I'm going to show you through every ounce of my body what it looks like to take a stand and make a movement before you're off this earth. And so, yeah, of course I would take donations, but also know it's going to go to help other people.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Because that's who you are.
Yeah.
Mitzi, thank you so much for contacting me and for just contacted me and you were like, I want to be on your podcast.
I did my research. I talked to
it.
other people. I knew what I wanted. I knew who I wanted to surround myself with. And that's the beauty of listening to your intuition and knowing which way to go. And I knew that you were the one. I knew I wanted Sean here. I knew I wanted you here to help make a difference in this world, because I know that's what you guys are all about.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
So incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Love Dripping from the Walls. You can follow on Instagram or Facebook at Love Dripping from the Walls. Leave comments and questions, and I may share your thoughts on the podcast. Please rate and review on whatever platform you are listening on. If you want to support Love Dripping from the Walls, log on to the Anchor app and subscribe or give monthly donations. Keep listening and keep loving.